back to Sunday sessions where instead of self-sabotaging, we self-develop and self-reflect through video documentation. So this week has been an ultra challenging week for me. I think it was just a lot of things that popped up we didn't plan for, and just kind of I got really overwhelmed for whatever reason, right? And kind of just like I hate living for the weekend, but in all honesty, I was just hanging on until the weekend. So I'm going to hit you with why that happened, some business updates and some personal updates as well. Let's jump into business updates this week. So we're just experiencing some growing pains. So this time last year, we had 3 staff total, including myself. Now we've got 9. We had 50 active clientele on the books this time last year. Now we have about 150. So we've 2x doubled the business, however you want to call it. We've obviously added a lot more people to the company, which is awesome. But with that comes new methods, comes new processes, systems that need to be implemented, which we obviously implemented over the past couple of weeks. But even then, it's still getting used, like clientele getting used to these methods, staff getting used to these methods. So it takes a little bit of time, and I think we just hadn't really planned the way that we would have hoped to. This time around, coming into Christmas, obviously the PT industry, a lot of people go away, go on holidays, you have staff who go on holidays, these kinds of things, so we're just dealing with that at the moment. So some learnings, I suppose, tying into that side of things with the growing pains, I've just really come to realise the importance of communication and alignment. So communication with the team, but also making sure every team member is aligned with the mission and what we're trying to do, because as we come to this time of year, obviously staff, myself included, you get tired, you start to fall off the wagon, maybe a process gets skipped that leads to something bigger happening, and just making sure, obviously, I'm communicating with the team, but the team are communicating with one another, and are just still in line with the mission always. And I think it's just really important to reinforce that the whole time. So, touching on expansion, which we spoke about last week, it looks like this is going to happen a little bit quicker than what we thought, which is awesome. I'm just in some chats now to get this done. And I suppose for us now, I was looking back at why everything would have been so overwhelming. Obviously, it's because we have more clientele on the books, but we're also doing 250 PT sessions a week. Right? So when you look at that and you go, okay, even when people start to go away, or a trainee gets sick, or even the extra staff member wants to go away, you've got to somehow rebook that session or make sure that that client's on pause or time hold, these kinds of things, and that's definitely a component to why we felt so overworked. I think this week I felt overworked, just mental and thinking about things that need to happen, and sometimes I think you can think yourself into being fatigued and just draining mentally. So there's just things that get skipped, and obviously now coming into this week we're a lot clearer with what we need to do to make sure that we're on track heading into next week, which is always good. So personal updates from this week. I have purchased my first property, which is super exciting. I actually purchased this one back a while back, probably midway through the year, but everything's finalised now, so we're due to start building the property in, I believe it's April, so that should be done in 6 to 12 months from that date, which will be super good, super excited. It's in Yanchep, so Yanchep's like 40 minutes out of Perth CBD, I believe. It's an investment property. Basically, the reason behind buying in Yanchep is that obviously the area is developing. Obviously, the developing area becomes the land developing, and obviously it's going to be worth a whole lot more than what I paid for it. So looking to see some good growth with that property in the next couple of years. Personal goals are back on track in terms of training and nutrition, which is always good to see. And I think that's, even though I was on track last week, I still missed a couple of days, which I should have gone to the gym, or I should have gone to the sauna, or I should have done things for myself. And as soon as you don't do those things, I start to see my world kind of crumble around me, and I really notice the difference. That was kind of something I put down here as well. Whenever you're tired, right, everything else, you fall back into your old habits, or the vices and negativity, these kinds of things really start to stand out. When you are tired, when you are fatigued, even your thought patterns and your processes, these kinds of things aren't as clear. So I'm just really trying to make sure that I am taking care of myself and coming into the business and making really good decisions, right? Ones that obviously make my life easier, but everyone else's life around me easier as well. I'm kind of flaunting with the idea of signing up for a High Rocks event. High Rocks is basically like just a big circuit kind of style race, which has become pretty popular over the past couple of years, I'd say. So kind of tossing and turning whether or not to do that. I think it'd just be good to have something that I'm striving for with my training. Right now I'm kind of just training to feel good, which isn't a bad thing at all, but just kind of getting back on track with an event or something like that could be extremely beneficial, I think. Also just trying to make sure that my environment around me is clean. I think having a good, clean, creative environment goes a long way. Having a workspace where you want to get up and you actually want to work goes a long way as well. And then sleep is slowly improving. Last night, it was the first night that I had my phone charging outside of my room, and I turned off my phone at 8 p.m. So I saw this video, I'll try and link it. There's a guy who was like 36 ways you can improve your life, and he spoke about turning your phone off at 8 p.m, charging your phone outside of your room and just waking up with an alarm clock. So I put an alarm clock on my laptop. Obviously the goal is to get my laptop out of the room as well and just have an alarm clock, which I'll get sorted. But kind of fell asleep a whole lot quicker. And I think that wind down time from like 8 p.m. to like 10, where you kind of fall asleep, is really, really crucial to have a good night's sleep. In terms of YouTube, things like that, I'm loving making these videos and even just getting back into the consistent routine of posting. Obviously, views I think are going to be very low initially, like very, very low, particularly with midweek wisdom. It's just kind of something that I do for me and for a few people that want to watch it. Hopefully looking at, growing this series a little bit more, a bit more of a day in a life, Sunday sessions, obviously point of view of what it's like running a business, but that'll obviously come with consistency as well. So some learnings from this week, daily reflection and how important that is. I think getting up and actually starting your day by looking at what you have to do and planning the day around that. I think so many things change as well all the time. So just making sure you're on top of everything will go a long way. Now, socializing and isolation for myself, and I think in entrepreneurs would be a big thing. For me, I've just found the past week to be really lonely. I'm not sure why. Usually I'm pretty good with myself. But the past kind of week has been really tough, like really, really tough. So I'm just making sure that I'm trying to get out once a day to go to the sauna with a friend or go train or these kinds of things and just be around people that I want to grow with and they want to grow with me at the same time. Also learning to lead from afar with my team. Obviously we've got staff in multiple gym locations, so I can't physically be there all the time. So for me, learning to be able to get the most out of someone over Zoom instead of being face-to-face is something that I'm diving quite deep into, which I think obviously it's always good to be there face-to-face, but if you can get 90% out of 100% out of someone through Zoom, then that's a win and that's something I'm striving for. Now, after this week kind of came to an end, it's just been, like we said, it's been a big, stressful week. Just trying to really reflect on the idea that the sun will come up tomorrow, so why do we stress? And you know what, the sun will come up tomorrow, but you know what, like stresses will arise as well. So just trying to stay really calm and present and just making sure that, like we say, I'm looking after myself and looking after the team so I can be the best leader I can be whilst not always falling into ruts, these kinds of things. So books, I want to touch on a little bit about reads as well, what I'm doing for reading at the moment. I'm reading Think and Grow Rich, and that's something that I'm trying to read. Basically, once that phone goes off at 8 p.m, just making sure that I get a book out, dim the lights in my room, so it's a lot easier to fall asleep. So kind of updates with the business, I suppose big wins, we're constantly growing, which I'm forever grateful for, and I think heading into 2025 it's going to be a really big year for us. But also at the same time I want to make sure that I'm living a life that I want to lead, and leading for other people in terms of, do I take care of myself, do I show up for my team, do I pursue other passions and these kinds of things. So definitely some really good learnings from this week. So I thank you for tuning in. I'm looking forward to sharing next week. Now, updates in terms of, like we say, I want to touch on just quickly before we wrap things up here, the expansion into a new club. So looking to go into another World Gym location. Obviously we started in World Gym, so going back in there, it's going to be really exciting, and I think that's going to happen, hopefully, Jan 2025. So I just thought I'd chuck that in to tie things up. But again, thank you for watching. I'm really enjoying sitting down and reflecting and actually just sharing. It's nice to talk to someone or the camera with these videos, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to sharing into the future. So thanks for watching. Have a great week ahead.